There is a new leader at the helm of Valentino Beauty, and she has a very interesting background. Are we in store for a rebrand? Glossier backtracks on its vegan product offering. What does this mean for all the other brands that are going the clean and vegan route? Cosmetics business has launched a report on the top 5 trends in luxury beauty. Can you guess what they are? And finally, a brand that is not focusing on Gen Z and is focusing instead on Gen X, and they're doing pretty well. Can you guess who they are? If any of that interests you, grab a seat and get ready to chat. What's up, friends? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well, and welcome back to another episode of What is New in Luxury Beauty, the series here on my channel where we go through all the newest, hottest trends and interesting industry news in the world of luxury beauty. And I want to kick off this episode with some changes that are going down at Valentino Beauty and what this might mean for the brand. Taking a step back and just looking at Valentino as a fashion house, they have had some changes recently. Their creative director for a number of years, Pier Paolo, he left, and they recently scooped up Alessandro Michele from Gucci. He was the creative director of Gucci for about 7 years, although he was at the company for 20 years, I want to say, and he was largely responsible for the meteoric rise of Gucci over the past decade or so. So why am I giving you all this context? I'm telling you this, friends, because not only does Valentino have a new creative director, but now we have a new president for Valentino Beauty. Her name is Claudia Marcocci. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. And surprise, surprise, where is she coming from? She was responsible for the launch of Gucci Beauty. She became the vice president of Gucci Beauty, senior vice president, excuse me, in 2017 and collaborated with Michele on the launch of Gucci Beauty. She was largely responsible for the makeup and also the cult fragrance Gucci Bloom. Following that, she left in 2019 to join LVMH as the chief marketing officer and general brand director of Dior Beauty. So she also has been at Dior, managing the fragrance, makeup, skincare, and spa categories. And remember, friends, Gucci Beauty is licensed out by Coty and Valentino is licensed out by L'Oreal. But nonetheless, it does seem like Alessandro Michele was very involved with the launch of Gucci Beauty, the branding, the marketing campaigns, etc., which I guess I just didn't really realize because it was a licensed product, but apparently he was very, very hands-on, and I expect him to do the same at Valentino Beauty. So what is he doing? He's bringing in his people. He is bringing in the folks that he has worked with before to drive what might be a new vision for this brand. And he's doing it at a time when Valentino Beauty is actually doing very well. It says right here that the sales rose from 30 million in 2018 when L'Oreal acquired the license to 500 million in 2024. So 30 million to 500 million. And a lot of that has been driven by their blockbuster fragrance Born in Roma, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with. So what does this mean for the brand? What does this mean for Valentino Beauty? Are we going to be seeing like a complete rebrand? Because Alessandro Michele, if you're not familiar with his fashion, he has a pretty bold sense of style. So I'm curious to see if he's going to bring a little bit of what he contributed to Gucci at Valentino, and if that is going to be reflected in the fragrances or any of the color collections that we see from the makeup line. We haven't seen any of his fashion shows yet. I think his first show is going to be this fall in the fashion week that happens in September. So we'll kind of get a little bit of a taste of the Alessandro Michele Valentino, and I'm really excited to see what he brings. And then I think from there, we will probably see the makeup line follow suit.
Hi, Editing Sophia here. I have an update because literally as I'm editing this video, Alessandro has dropped a surprise collection for Valentino at the Menswear Fashion Week in Milan. The collection is for both men and women. This is the first thing that we've seen from him for Valentino, and it looks very similar to what he did at Gucci. Like if you were to swap out the Valentino V for the Gucci G, I would totally believe that it was like Alessandro era Gucci. It looks very, very similar. And I know that I'm talking about Alessandro a lot here, and Claudia is kind of like the newest person at the brand, but Alessandro is the person who is driving the creative vision for the brand, and then he's bringing in people like Claudia to kind of match the vibe of what he's going to be bringing to Valentino. And I'm looking at the vibe of this collection, and once again, it looks very Alessandro era Gucci. So I'm curious to see if any of the new fragrances are going to be, you know, a similar vibe, or if they're going to switch up the makeup collection, because there is not a rock stud in sight.
I am going to be keeping an eye out to see if any of the products start going on discount or if they're out of stock, because usually when we see that, that means either the brand is shutting down or the brand is it's going to be going through, kind of like a revamp, a rebrand, so to speak. I would love to hear from you all. What do you think of Valentino Beauty? Do you think Valentino Beauty is in need of a little bit of like a refresh? Do you like this brand? I think, it hasn't really been around for long, but I will say, I don't really like Valentino Beauty as much as I like Gucci Beauty or even Dolce & Gabbana Beauty for that matter. I think they have some really good products. I think that their blushes in particular are beautiful. I think the brand is like fairly well done, but it's not my favorite, to be honest with you. I kind of would like to see a little bit of a refresh. I would like to see something a little bit interesting. Their product releases, let me know if you agree, I feel like they've been a little bit slow. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the last release they came out with were the Liquoroso lip and cheek tints that I reviewed for you guys here on my channel. And I enjoyed those, but they didn't seem to be super popular. A lot of you guys didn't really enjoy them. And gosh, that was like a while ago. That was like at least a couple months ago. It was at some point last year. What is the last thing that Valentino Beauty has launched? I mostly have seen them come out with like limited edition packaging of things that already exist. But then I don't know where to find those limited edition products. They're not at Sephora. I don't see them at like Saks or Nordstrom's or Neiman's. Maybe they're like Asia exclusives. I don't know. Tell me where to find those limited edition compacts. I would like to see a little bit of a refresh there, or at the very least, I would like to see new products being offered by the brand. I mean, they haven't even launched a shiny lip balmy lipstick product yet, and literally every single brand is doing that. So Valentino Beauty, you need to get with the times. The other thing is that I kind of feel like Valentino Beauty is very much propped up by the Born in Roma fragrance. Every time I'm on Sephora and I'm taking a look at the fragrance bestsellers, Born in Roma is at the top. In fact, I took a look at Sephora today and they have seven different variations of Born in Roma that you can purchase on the Sephora website. So it's kind of like, how many more variations of this fragrance can you make? I guess it's working for them. They also have the travel sizes and the gift sets and all of that. I do think that because fragrance is so hot, they're going to continue to launch new fragrances, but the makeup lover in me really hopes that they will come out with some more makeup products. So comment down below. Let me know what you think of this. Are you excited about Alessandro Michele and him kind of bringing in his people into the brand? What do you think is going to happen to Valentino Beauty? Let me know all of your thoughts down below. If you've watched this series before, then you will know we are constantly talking about the biggest trends in luxury beauty, and not just trends in terms of like glossy lips or pink cheeks or blue eyeshadow, for example, but also what are the consumer preferences and purchasing behaviors that are driving the products that we see on our shelves. So I wanted to share with you today the top 5 trends in the luxury beauty industry. This is from the Cosmetics Business updated luxury beauty trend report for 2024. And the first luxury beauty trend here, to no one's surprise because we talked about this endlessly in the last episode, is fragrance. Fragrance is the top growth category for 2024. It says right here that premium fragrance sales soared by 12.2% globally in 2023, according to Euromonitor International, and we will continue to see that growth into 2024. Now, within this trend, there's sort of like 2 sub-trends, okay? The first one, which we already discussed in the last episode, I'll link it down below, is that Gen Z is driving a lot of the growth in the fragrance category. They are obsessed with it. It is trending on their social medias. They are asking their parents to buy them fragrance for their birthdays, for Christmas, or they're saving up their money and they are purchasing those little travel sizes, the value sets. They're very into fragrance right now, so that has definitely added to the boom. But the other sub-trend that I thought was interesting is that in the market as a whole, what we are seeing from sales is that a lot of people are shifting from more of like those mainstream fragrances, maybe the ones that you find at Sephora, to more of like the ultra premium, ultra high-end fragrances. I don't know if this is being driven by social media, but it definitely seems, despite the fact that we are in a cost of living crisis, people are going to these very high-end, very sort of like niche, very expensive fragrances. And I wonder if it is just because people, maybe instead of buying like 3 or 4 fragrances in a year, maybe folks just want to research and purchase one really good fragrance. And I've kind of noticed that within my own subscribers as well. I think a lot of us, we've sort of scaled down how much we buy, and we're focusing a little bit more on value and quality. And so I think that is what the industry has been seeing in the fragrance fragrance category as well. And in terms of what kinds of fragrances are seeing growth, the biggest trend right now apparently is oud. It says right here in the article, one of the most polarizing and heavy scents in perfumery is now experiencing a modern revival as more approachable interpretations drive a global surge in popularity as consumers look for more luxurious, opulent, and distinctive scents. Comment down below, do you enjoy oud fragrances? I love oud wood from Tom Ford, but I think that might be the only oud fragrance that I own. So I thought that was interesting. Oud is kind of like a powerful scent, but definitely something that we see utilized in those more high-end premium fragrances. Luxury beauty trend number 2 should come at no surprise to any of us, and that is that a lot of these big legacy beauty brands, they are shifting their focus, their marketing, and their products to Gen Z. Gen Z is the hot new generation to market to, although I'm pretty sure us millennials, Gen X, and baby boomer generations, I feel like we're probably purchasing most of the makeup. We have more purchasing power, but a lot of the growth is coming from the younger generations, especially because they are heavily influenced on what is trending. We chatted about YSL hiring Dua Lipa to be the new face of YSL Beauty. They reformulated and revamped the Rouge Volupté Shine and made it the Love Shine lipsticks, did a big campaign with Dua Lipa, and that category really resonates with the Gen Z customer. It's one of the biggest growth categories right now, is like shiny lipsticks and kind of very subtle makeup. Also, Chanel has hired Timothée Chalamet to be the face of Bleu de Chanel, which is funny because that's the fragrance that my dad wears, and they've got like this young kid as the face of it. Dior has hired Willow Smith to be the face of Dior Beauty. And then you all know we recently discussed, I know this isn't necessarily a legacy brand, but we have heavily discussed on this channel the Charlotte Tilbury fragrances and how those are very clearly marketed towards a younger generation. If you want to hear my thoughts about the Charlotte Tilbury fragrances, and if you want to get a good laugh, even if you're not interested in the fragrances, definitely watch that review because a lot of you enjoyed it. And speaking of Charlotte Tilbury, luxury beauty trend number 3 is the huge rise of challenger brands. We've seen a lot more luxury beauty brands enter the market in the past decade, and they are giving the legacy brands like Chanel and Dior a run for their money. The 2 brands that were mentioned in this article specifically were Charlotte Tilbury and Jo Malone. They are thriving. Rare Beauty also is very commonly mentioned, and I will say, you know, we discussed in a previous video of mine, there are a lot more legacy fashion houses that are launching their own beauty brands like Valentino Beauty, like Gucci Beauty. Now we have Dolce & Gabbana Beauty. We're about to see Celine Beauty and Paco Rabanne Beauty. There are so many that have entered the market, and I told you guys in that video, I find it very, very exciting because it kind of keeps the legacy folks on their toes. Luxury beauty trend number 4 is the boom of the Middle East travel sales. We've talked about retail travel sales before in this channel when we chatted about the fall of Estee Lauder. A lot of brands such as Estee Lauder heavily relied on Asia travel sales up until this point. Where we are seeing most of the growth right now is with Middle East travel sales. And finally, luxury beauty trend number 5 touches upon the industry's next biggest market for growth, and that is India. It says right here that disposable incomes are rising. There is high aspiration and trend awareness in beauty consumers. More and more women are entering the workforce, and there has never been a better time for luxury global beauty brands to launch in India. So comment down below, friends, what do you think of these top 5 industry trends in luxury beauty? Are you surprised by any of them? Are you baffled? Are you annoyed by any of them? Let me know all of your thoughts. I feel like a lot of times when we see these like top 5 trends lists, it happens to be, you know, like I said, red lips or green eyeshadow or colored mascara or whatever, and it's kind of like, I don't know. As a millennial, as somebody in my 30s, I think that trends are fun, but I also think it's kind of fun to take a look behind the curtain at the research and the data and the business side of things to see what are the actual like global industry trends, what are the markets that are driving the growth, what are the generations that are driving the growth, and I feel like most of the time that explains the marketing campaigns we see and the products that are launched on our shelves. Okay, now we got to talk about Glossier, because Glossier is bringing back the original Balm Dotcom. If you're not familiar with the Balm Dotcom, it's a lip balm, okay? Long story short, it's a lip balm. It comes in a bunch of tints and different flavors at this point. They're seasonal flavors, and it is one of the biggest products for the brand. At least it was one of the most popular products from the brand, because last year in 2023, Glossier reformulated the Balm Dotcom. The original formula used to have lanolin, which is a product that comes from sheep's wool, and they replaced it with a synthetic version to make the formula vegan. Fast forward, on May 15th, Glossier posts this to their Instagram, a teaser that they were bringing back the original non-vegan formula that included lanolin, and their customers rejoiced. There were so many posts on social media excited about the fact that they were bringing this back. Apparently, the reformulation did not perform very well. Their sales went down, and we all know in this economy, these companies, they cannot afford for one of their star products to not be performing well anymore. Side note, if you're like me, you might not even know that this reformulation even happened because it just happened in 2023. I was thinking to myself, do I have the new formulation or do I have the old formulation? Because I always enjoyed the Glossier Balm Dotcom. I recommend it here on my channel. I've done a Glossier review video on this channel. Am I just recommending something that doesn't exist anymore? So I did order one from Sephora. I ordered, of course, the fig scented one. I tried it on and I didn't like it. I didn't like it. It was very clear that I had received the new reformulated vegan version. This is just my personal opinion. It wasn't as good. I didn't enjoy it. I actually returned it to Sephora. And at Sephora in store, they did have the one with lanolin. So I actually bought that one and I'm enjoying it very much. I'll put right up here the side-by-side of the ingredients in case you want to take a quick little screenshot. It's very clear if you're purchasing it, the one that is like the OG formula has lanolin and the reformulated one, which is now the old one, does not. So anyway, why am I talking about this, okay? Because this is like a pretty mundane update, right? Oh, Glossier bringing back the Balm Dotcom. I'm talking about this because this is an interesting case study that relates to a big trend that we are seeing in the luxury beauty industry. A lot of the brands are going the clean beauty route, they're going the vegan route because they're trying to attract customers that are looking for those kinds of products. And I think that that is great, especially if that is what your customer is asking for. But it's only great as far as that the product, like the end result, the reformulation, is good. It either needs to be better, just as good, or I shouldn't be able to tell the difference. And this is an example where the product was not as good and the company made the call to listen to their customers and they felt that that would be a better business decision than going the vegan route. I think it's a really interesting case study. It also just kind of goes to show you that brands, like, they don't really care about being vegan. They really just care about attracting new customer bases and trying to grow their brand. So a lot of these brands that are going clean, I don't think they're going clean because like they have our best interests at heart or anything like that. They're going clean because people are asking for clean products. When I went to Sephora to purchase a couple of things for like a recent haul, the sales associate was showing me like where the Kosas blushes were, and she couldn't stop talking about how they were clean and it's clean beauty and this and that. I'm like, hey, I know what these are, lady, okay? You don't need to sell me on them. But the point is that this is how sales associates, they're kind of selling the product. These are the selling points nowadays, but it's not really a selling point if the product isn't as good. Do you guys remember the same thing happened to Bite Beauty? Remember how Bite Beauty, which is no more, okay? They went out of business. They're now just like the Bite Beauty Lip Lab, which they have in a bunch of different cities around the US. But do you guys remember when Bite Beauty, they had that cult favorite lip mask, and the same thing happened. They took out the lanolin, they reformulated it to be vegan, and people didn't like it, and it was no longer a star product from the brand. They didn't listen to their customers. And so I feel like a lot of brands, they're kind of at this crossroads of like, okay, we have this good product, but we also want to attract the clean and vegan consumers, or the consumers that are looking for those types of products. And they're really trying to, I guess, maintain the quality. So I'm really curious to see how other brands might react to maybe customers not really enjoying the product anymore. It really will only depend on the sales. Like if sales go down, then they will improve the product. Dior is a perfect example where like some of the products, I really can't tell the difference and it really doesn't bother me. But a lot of their powder products, like their blushes and their eyeshadows, while they aren't bad, they aren't as consistently good and the prices have gone up. Will people buy fewer Dior products, or are we gonna see people buying more reformulated Dior products? Only time will tell, but I just wanted to bring this up as an interesting case study, friends. So comment down below. Let me know what you think of that, and also let me know in the comments section if you can think of any other examples of other companies who have done these kinds of reformulations and maybe gone downhill or had to make sort of similar tough judgment calls. I feel like I talk about Gen Z a lot on this channel, just given all of the industry news, and it definitely can get a little bit exhausting given the fact that both myself and The majority of my subscribers, the vast majority of us, are not Gen Z, but I want to talk about a brand today that for once is not focusing on Gen Z. They are focusing on Gen X and the older millennial generation. And what is this brand? It is Merit Beauty. I have seen so many articles recently about Merit Beauty. I don't know if they're doing like a big PR kick or something like that, but I've seen a lot of articles about them. So I've kind of wanted to cover a little bit about this brand and also some of the interesting marketing campaigns and business decisions that they've been making over the past couple of years. I think most of you are familiar with Merit Beauty at this point. They are a luxury beauty brand that is sold at Sephora and also on their own website. I reviewed many of their products here on this channel. I absolutely love their lipsticks, their mascara. I like their complexion stick. They have a lot of really good products. They're a clean beauty brand as well. They're kind of like a grown-up Glossier and a less expensive Westman Atelier. And maybe you knew this or maybe you didn't, maybe you picked up on it, but the target customer for Merit Beauty is that Gen X generation, or kind of like the older millennials, Gen X, 35 to 65. That is who they are going after. And it's kind of like unfairly so an underserved population when it comes to product development and marketing. Like I touched upon in the top 5 luxury beauty trends of 2024, a lot of the more established brands, they are focusing right now on Gen Z. And the founder of the brand, Catherine Power, mentioned that when she started Merit Beauty, a lot of the new market entrants felt very young, very much catering to like a younger audience. She wanted to create a brand that still felt very elevated, very luxury, but also offered the clean formulations that were being offered by those new market entrants that were not being offered by those more established luxury brands. And she wanted to offer it at a lower price point. By the way, side note, Catherine Power is like a serial entrepreneur. I always thought that Merit, I don't know why, I thought they were like a little brand, like making it in the big industry, and for sure, they're smaller than maybe a Charlotte Tilbury or a Rare Beauty, for example. But Catherine Power is a venture capitalist at Greycroft Partners. She has a lot of experience. She also founded the very popular blog Who What Where. She also founded the lifestyle site Birdie. She founded Versed, which is a skincare company that I have products from that I really like. I had no idea she founded that. And she also founded Avaline, which is that organic wine company with Cameron Diaz, who apparently is like one of her besties. So anyway, back to the story. What is new with Merit Beauty? They have just launched an interesting new marketing campaign to promote the newest shade, Ginger, of their signature satin lipstick. The campaign features 83-year-old longtime Vogue creative director Grace Coddington. If you're not familiar with Grace Coddington, she's kind of an icon. Okay, she's very much known for her minimalist makeup and her bright, vibrant lipstick shades as well, so she's kind of the perfect person for this campaign. And actually, this is not the first time that they featured a more mature woman in a marketing campaign. When they first launched their Great Skin serum product in 2022, they featured in the campaign 44-year-old model Sasha Tilburg. Apparently that product is the best-selling skin product from a makeup brand at Sephora. Did you guys know that? I had no idea that that product was so popular. I mean, like, I know that it's good, but apparently it is their bestseller. In some of the other campaigns, we've also seen Catherine Power tap into her pretty iconic friend group. There have been posts from 51-year-old Cameron Diaz, who she has the wine business with, and also 42-year-old Nicole Richie. And apparently this strategy is working because Merit is doing pretty well. It says in this article that Merit is profitable and surpassed 100 million in retail sales last year, and it is expected to far surpass that this year in 2024. To date, its minimalist perfecting complexion stick is the #1 stick foundation at Sephora. Its Solo Shadow eyeshadow became Sephora's top-selling eyeshadow at launch, and its Flush Balm and Bronze Balm are in the top 5 in their respective categories. I know that Merit Beauty has good stuff, but I didn't realize that their products were so popular. Maybe it's just because I don't really like the Flush Balm. That's just me. It's not my thing, but like I said, I like a lot of their other products. They also announced in February that they appointed MAC Cosmetics global president Philippe Pinatel as CEO, and this year it also tapped into Goldman Sachs to explore exit options. If you were listening closely to my previous episode where we talked about Rare Beauty potentially being sold, you might have caught that I also mentioned Merit Beauty. By the way, Makeup by Mario, Glossier, Kosas, and Westman Atelier are also brands that are exploring or at least rumored to be exploring exits this year. Comment down below and let me know what you think of that. So what's next? What's next for Merit Beauty? It says in the articles that I've read that the company plans to introduce more multi-purpose products, which I feel like they already kind of do, as well as push into international markets. It has 3 more products that are coming out this year and plans to expand more deeply into skincare. I thought that this topic would be interesting because, like I said, most of my subscribers are within this same demographic that Merit is going after. So comment down below, friends. Let me know. What do you think of Merit? What's your perception of this brand? Have you noticed their marketing efforts? Have you noticed that they're focusing on this demographic? Personally, while I may not love, every single product from Merit Beauty, I do really like their marketing campaigns. I like that they are focusing and featuring on a more mature demographic because, after all, we're the ones that purchase the most makeup. We have more purchasing power, so why not focus on us? When I look at their campaigns, I definitely feel like they're more inclusive overall, and I kind of get more of a sense of community. Like, this is for all women of all ages, because if 83-year-old Grace Coddington can look beautiful in the lipstick, we can all look beautiful in the lipstick. And actually, one of the articles cited that they haven't seen like a dip or a decrease in the younger generations purchasing their products. Their focus on sort of iconic women has drawn the attention of the younger Gen Z generation. Like, they know who these women are and they look up to them. So it's not really deterring any of the younger customers anyway. I think it's a smart way to differentiate yourself as a brand from some of those kind of newer brands like Tower 28, Cali Ray, Kosas, for example. A lot of the packaging, it does look like it's cute, but it looks a little bit childish, whereas you take a look at Merit, it looks very grown up, very streamlined, very elevated, very chic. I love the whole vibe of the brand. It looks like more of a Chanel, of a YSL, but it's sold at a much cheaper price point, and at least for the people who care, it is a clean beauty brand like the Tower 28 and the Kosas and the Cali Ray. They're basically launching the same concept, but they're going after a different consumer and also with like a different look and feel. I also think that if you're gonna go after the millennial and Gen X generations, then going with this sort of elevated but minimal, fuss-free, multi-purpose style of makeup is a really great way to go. I mean, as we get older, like we don't want to have to fuss with our makeup. That's why a lot of us really like luxury makeup, because we just want the best of the best. We don't have to fuss with anything. We just want one really good multi-purpose complexion stick that we can use every single day that isn't fussy, that works perfectly for us. And I feel like that's what Merit is offering its customers. These types of lipsticks and neutral blushes, like these never go out of style, and I really think it caters very well to maybe the customer that just doesn't have as much time, wants something very quick, very easy, effortless, and usually wants something that's like pretty natural looking and neutral in tone. By the way, I realize that Merit is not the only brand to have done this. Bobbi Brown really perfected this type of natural minimalist makeup back in the day, but I do think that Merit, especially, it coming out as like a clean beauty brand at the time, it does sort of feel like a more modern version of a Bobbi Brown or a Laura Mercier. They also are not the only brand that is focusing on this demographic. Some of the other ones that come to mind are definitely RMS, one of our favorites here on this channel, also Jones Road, U Beauty, Wayne Goss Beauty, and also BK Beauty are all brands that focus on this demographic. So those are all of my thoughts, friends. Comment down below once again. Let me know what you think of Merit Beauty. I would love to know specifically, what do you think of their marketing strategy and their brand positioning? Do you feel like this is a smart way to go? I feel like a lot of us were just so tired of hearing about Gen Z and every brand just catering to them, and even a lot of our, favorite brands like Chanel and Dior changing up their products in pursuit of this new customer. What do you think of this strategy? Would you like to see more brands going that route? I would love to know, so leave me a comment down below. And if you like this video, please don't forget to give your girl here a big thumbs up. If you are new here, please consider subscribing to my channel for more videos just like this one. I also do a lot of new makeup reviews, fun and helpful guides, ranking videos. We have a lot of fun here on this channel. And with that, friends, I hope that you see some beauty in your day, and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye.